This is where the fun begins.
General Kenobi.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Jedi Knights, the official Star Wars podcast of Joy Clicks. I'm your host, Christian Buckley, joined by my Chewie, Mike Connors, for episode 50.
What an accomplishment. And it's been so much fun doing it with you, Christian. So.
Absolutely. It feels good to see a number that high. I think, personally, this is the first... That's not true. I did a show with Kevin Diaz on PlayStation Source. We got to 58 episodes of that show. But we're right behind. Impressive. Yeah, we're right behind now, and we're going to pass that because that show's over.
I think we're definitely going to pass it. The real question is, when will we get to episode 66, and what will we do for it? Stay tuned.
Absolutely.
That's what I got to say.
We are kicking around ideas for that every single day, every waking hour. But
every waking hour.
If you're not familiar, this is our Star Wars podcast where every week Mike and I get together, talk about the Star Wars news, review some Star Wars things, speculate some Star Wars things. And
always.
A constant there is The Mandalorian, and we're going to get to that. There's a lot of Mando news this week. Mando Season 2 trailer. But before that starts up, Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing really good. We're getting some good Star Wars content. I haven't been really playing any Star Wars media myself, but yeah, I'm getting hyped on The Mandalorian.
Me too.
What about you?
Yeah, I like you said, haven't really been consuming a ton of Star Wars content. You know, it's always on my mind, clearly, but yeah, nothing in the immediate area of where I am right now. But now, the hype is back. I feel like our dead season of news for Star Wars was pretty brief, all things considered.
No, totally. I mean, I think it's just going to ramp up from here, and especially since we have some special things planned for the next few episodes. It's going to be Mandalorian heavy, but for good reason.
Yes, for sure. And before we get to any of that, let's kick the show off the way we normally do with our segment From the Jedi Archives, where we pull from the Jedi Archives, also known as Wikipedia. Mike, why don't you...
Aptly named.
Yeah. Mike, why don't you kick us off with your selection for the week?
Okay, sure. So this week I chose the one, the only, Masameda. So Masameda was a Chagrian male politician who served in the high-ranking government roles during the twilight years of the Galactic Republic and helped establish and administrate its successor state, the Galactic Empire. He's the big blue guy who, like, you know, hangs out with Palpatine.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Horn man.
Yeah, horn guy.
Yeah.
Blue horn guy
who
hangs out with Palpatine in the prequels. That's him. So, yeah, he's from Champala.
Okay.
So I guess Champala, that's a place in the galaxy's inner rim. So that's interesting. He's 1.96 meters tall. Of course, his skin color indeed is blue. And yeah, he helped administrate, and he was basically like a bureaucrat for Palpatine.
Now, I have to wonder, I would love a memoir written from this character's perspective about his time working with Palpatine.
No, legit. I mean, it's pretty funny. Like, I don't know. I think he actually ended up living longer, too, than the Empire, I believe.
Interesting.
Yeah, so he ended up, like, I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, for sure. I never knew what that guy's name was, but now we know it is. Can you repeat it?
Masameda.
Masameda. Interesting. Well, curious if he ends up as a playable character in the Skywalker Saga Lego game. We'll see. But
I hope so. I really do.
Yeah, if Yaddle's playable, I'm sure he is. You know, give us a mission where it's Palpatine getting prepared for the assault from the Jedi Council, and it's just the two of them doing co-op in that room together.
Exactly. I think like you know, he's in the scene where Yoda like shows up to Palpatine in episode 3. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe he's involved in some way.
He'd been new. He was in the loop the whole time.
He'd been new for sure.
Well, very interesting poll. Mine is a bit of a more recent addition to the greater Star Wars canon, and that is one Jaro Tapal.
Jaro Tapal. Nice. That's a good one.
Yeah, Jar Tapal was a Force-sensitive Lasat male who was a Jedi Master during the Clone Wars, serving the Galactic Republic with distinction as a Jedi General in the Grand Army of the Republic. He mentored one Cal Kestis in the Ways of the Force. Died 19 years before the Battle of Yavin. He has gray hair, green eyes, purple skin. Don't have a height on him, but as we saw in Fallen Order, he is quite tall.
Very.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, Cal was just really small, so who knows?
Yeah, well, he had like those. You know how like deer have like the backward legs, kind of. He had one of those. He had two of those actually, but yeah, Jar Tapal. I would love more of Jar Tapal. He seemed cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would love to see some Clone Wars episodes with Jar Tapal. That would be cool. Too bad that show. I mean, they said that show may come back, right?
Right.
So maybe we'll get some Jar Tapal action there. I feel like that would be a cool place to get it.
Yeah, I'd love also. I would take like a comic, you know, maybe like 5 issues or something about Cal Kestis training with Jar Tapal, you know, just to flesh out a little more Cal, maybe from the perspective of Jaro, just to give him a bit more of a character. But he grabbed me in the short amount of time I saw him in Fallen Order.
Well, it doesn't necessarily mean that like in the sequels to Fallen Order that we won't get more of him.
Sure.
So, you know, never count that out.
Absolutely. So that does it for this week's Jedi Archives from the Jedi Archives. And while we're on the subject of this, I'll throw this out there because this is just a very brief story. I sent this to you, Mike. Currently, Galaxy's Edge is running a poll to see what the next special edition replica lightsaber should be to stock in Galaxy's Edge. There are a handful of options. I think Ezra's lightsaber is an option. Kanan Jarrus, his lightsaber is an option.
Yeah.
Qui-Gon Jinn, favorite of mine. Big fan of that one.
Yep.
As well as Cal Kestis, the broken one, which we see him use at the beginning of Fallen Order, again, formerly belonging to one Jar Tapal.
That's what we need. That's the one that I would choose.
Yeah. That is the one I voted for. As of the time I voted, which I want to say was maybe 4 days ago as of recording this, heavy lead. Very heavy lead with that one. Qui-Gon's was trailing by about like 20%. But after that, it was kind of a wash. Yeah.
That's good. I mean, that's what I want to see, honestly. I didn't realize that it was a poll, so I didn't vote myself, but good to know that I would have voted for that anyway. So.
Yeah. And it's cool to see that the greater fandom, I guess, is sort of pushing for more Fallen Order content, I guess, because technically that's content, even if it's merch, you know?
Well, I mean, we're for sure going to get more Fallen Order, so it's only a matter of time.
Yeah. So, that was just a little quick one, but Mike, we got a metric ton of Mandalorian stuff to talk about today.
So much stuff. I want to say, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn here.
Please do. Please toot. Go ahead.
I think you know where I'm about to go here. 2 weeks ago, I made a prediction on this very show that in 2 weeks we would get a trailer for The Mandalorian Season 2. And I was right. So, you know, not trying to toot my own horn here, not trying to pat myself on the back.
Please do.
But I'm trying to pat myself on the back. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, that's the biggest news. That's the headline news. We got a new trailer for The Mandalorian Season 2.
And Mike, I think to celebrate, why don't we lead off with what this show is doing to cover Manda Season 2?
Would you like to explain?
Sure. We are officially coining, trademarking, exclusively hashtagging #Mandoctober. Now, should it be pronounced Mandoktober or Mandoctober?
I like Mandoctober, but if you want to pronounce it Mandoctober or whatever, that's fine too.
Yeah. So Mando October is basically what we're doing, and what that consists of is starting
when the weather gets cold. That's really when it all starts. that's when Mandoctober starts.
Yeah, Mandoctober is a state of mind. It's not a time.
Exactly.
So starting on the episode that will release on October 7th, and every Wednesday following when these episodes go live, we will be doing a rewatch of The Mandalorian Season 1. Starting out on the 7th, we'll be rewatching and discussing our rewatch of episodes 1 and 2. The following week will be 3 and 4, week after 5 and 6, and then the final week, 7 and 8, as we go into the weekend where The Mandalorian Season 2 will be premiering. And then at that point, we will resume our weekly Mandalorian reviews that we did last fall, but for Season 2, every Wednesday. So you're going to be getting the Mandalorian recap for the week prior, our thoughts on it a couple days before the new episode airs. So
yeah, I think it perfectly lines up to when the new episodes begin to release.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. So
I'm excited to watch it again. It's been probably like a year.
Yeah, same. I've only watched it one time through fully.
I think me as well.
Mm-hmm. So,
some episodes I watched maybe twice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but nothing.
Looking forward to it. So if you want to join along, feel free, listeners, viewers, you can do that. We also have a $2 tier on patreon.com/joyclicks where you can submit talking points. So if there are specific things about the episodes you want us to talk about, cover, or theories you have, you can go there, and I'll make a post every week where you can, $2 tier patrons can just go off, give us talking points, get your name read on the show, get your thoughts read on the show. So
go off, kings and queens.
Absolutely. So with that, Mike, why don't we build to the big thing? Because the big thing is the trailer. We have a couple other things to discuss before.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna end off on.
Mm-hmm. So what we have first, right, is we have Mando Mondays, right? Now Mando Mondays are going to be the Disney version, I guess, the Lucasfilm version of Mandoctober, which kind of a huge oversight on their part. But Mando Mondays.
Yeah, what's up with that? We totally came up with a better name.
Yeah.
Rather, you came up with a better name, Christian.
Thank you. Well, hey, we screened it. Take credit for it. It's your show too.
we workshopped it. We wait. What do they do? Not crowdsource it, but whatever. Continue on.
Okay. From Lucasfilm, we have the following quote. Fans of the Disney Plus original series The Mandalorian just received a new reason to look forward to Mondays. Disney and Lucasfilm today announced Mando Mondays, an all-new global consumer products, games, and publishing program kicking off on October 26th that will debut goods inspired by the series. After premiering last fall and quickly taking the world by storm, The Mandalorian, which took home 7 awards last week during the 2020 Primetime Emmys, will return for its highly anticipated second season Friday, October 30th, only on Disney+. The Mandalorian and the Child continue their journey facing enemies and rallying allies as they make their way through the dangerous galaxy in the tumultuous era after the collapse of the Galactic Republic. After fans experience the latest episode every Friday on Disney+, they can visit MandoMondays.com each Monday to see what new toys, collectibles, apparel, books, comics, digital content, and more will be revealed. Mando Mondays will run for 9 weeks, culminating on December 21st. So.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just going to get like merch drops every Monday after like the new episodes?
I would assume so. Interesting, it's running 9 weeks. I'm wondering if that is reflecting how many episodes we get this season, because I don't think they've confirmed an episode count yet.
Yeah, interesting. If it's running for 9 weeks, I feel like that would just make sense. It's a good extrapolation right there.
Right, because similarly, I think Mando Season 1 wrapped up around the same time, right? It was like the final episode was the week after. No, we got a double feature the week of the Rise of Skywalker. So by the time Rise of Skywalker was out, we had both final episodes.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I think that The Mandalorian started sometime in November last year.
Yeah,
so yeah, it hasn't even been a full year. So
yeah,
that's kind of interesting. I remember like when we were filming the episodes, or I think very early on in this year, we were like talking about how they were already shooting season 2. So makes sense.
So, we do have the first reveal for Mando Mondays. The first batch of them, if you want me to run through them real quick.
Go for it.
We have Monopoly Star Wars The Mandalorian Edition. Retail price $40, available fall 2020.
Okay.
Now, I got a problem with this box, Mike, out the gate.
What's wrong with it?
It's a pretty cool box. It looks like it's carbonite, but the sigil, Mike, is Boba Fett's sigil. It is not the Mudhorn.
Oh, it's Boba Fett's. You're saying?
Yes, it is not the Mudhorn. It is whatever. It's like the Rancor, right? Is that what Boba Fett's is, or something like that?
I honestly don't even know.
The Manticore, maybe.
When I look it up, all I get is the child Monopoly game.
Oh man, do we have two? Do we have two sets?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, we might. There's another Monopoly set where I guess there's the child on the front. So if you want that, guys, we're not getting plugged or anything. Go get it.
We also have a Star Wars The Black Series credit collection, which falls under the Kenner replicated action figures. We have one 6-inch heavy infantry figure. So this is, of course, Jon Favreau's Mandalorian character with the jetpack that we saw in episode 3. That is going to be $35. Well, $35 for that one seems a little much.
Yeah.
Huh. Ooh. Mike, you know what else we have, though?
What do we have?
We have a Din Djarin Kenner figure that is $25. And let me tell you, I kind of love how that box looks.
I need to look it up.
Yeah, I'll send you.
It's a Kenner figure.
Yeah, it's a replica of the Kenner figure. I can send you the link to this if you want. But
yeah,
I'm pulling this off of the Star Wars Newsnet recap of it, and my God, the box, the look. Oh, I kind of want that.
I mean, only $25. You might as well do it.
Yeah, and we have on a date is fall 2020. So
it looks very cool. It looks very, very cool. What's that like? What's that gold thing that's on the top?
I think it's supposed to be like Imperial credits, because we got a silver one on the heavy infantry Mandalorian as well. So I think that's might be just what that is, like a collectible Imperial credit coin.
Yeah, I think I would want to get I would want to get both of them together for sure.
Mm-hmm.
The heavy infantry Mandalorian and this Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm. We also have for $25 a Kenner of Cardoon, a Kenner of IG-11, a Kenner of an Imperial Death Trooper, and a carbonized Kenner graphite figure of Din Djarin as well, which is cheaper than the standard one. This one's $18.
Interesting. I feel like this one is more limited.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a carbonized vintage graphite collection, it's a lot of adjectives, you know.
Yeah, I feel like carbonized makes it seem like there's something special about it. So I'm surprised it's cheaper, honestly.
That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. We also have, what's this? Star Wars The Bounty Collection Series 2, The Child figures. Now, I don't know if Bounty is like the paper towel brand or if this is like,
I don't know. It kind of looks like Funko Pops in a way.
In a way, yeah. Like, I'm kind of surprised. I've never seen this brand or style before. It's very strange.
It looks like hyper realistic in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's like playing with fire.
Yeah.
I guess he's like a firebender now.
Yeah, there's a lot of variation with those two packs, which is pretty interesting. This one is haunting. We have a Diamond Select.
Oh my God.
1/2 scale bust of the child. It is $150. Pre-orders start today, and it's available in spring 2021. I don't like that.
This is terrifying.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. It's like the texture of it just looks wrong.
Yeah, why would you want this? Like, where would you put this?
Put that on the old fireplace, put that on the mantle.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is worth it, folks.
Yeah, that one's a little questionable, I think. I don't know if I would buy that one. Um Ooh, now speaking of Funko Pops, Mike, we have some more Funko Pops as well. There's a Chrome Mando with the child. Looks like he is following the path of the rising phoenix, as we saw at the end of season 1. So jetpack and all.
Nice.
Again,
I
another.
feel like that's what he's gonna look like in this next season.
Oh, absolutely. We got Baby Yoda in the pouch in the background of my set for viewers. You can't really see it, but I have Baby Yoda just standing there, like with his hands out. So this one, you can get him all bundled up, nice and cute. Man, what are the highlights? Because there's a lot of other merch. It's a lot of stuff you would just see kind of in.
I know there's a lot here.
Like, like that aisle of Target.
Exactly. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
We got a lot of those.
Honestly, I think the most striking thing out of all of this is that like $160 bust of Baby Yoda.
Mm-hmm. Now,
not for good reasons. I think that's kind of strange. Otherwise, I actually kind of just really like the Black Series Kenner figures.
Yeah, I think if anything out of this, I might try to get that Kenner of Din, because I missed out on the Black Series of Mando like twice. I think I guess the Beskar armor one went on sale. I don't know how I missed that if we do a Star Wars show every week, but
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it would be worth like buying all of them if you could.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. The one thing I want to shout out, all the way at the bottom of this list, Mike, for $120, you can get a Mandalorian themed Polaroid camera.
Okay, cool.
It's got like his color scheme, so like some tans, browns, and silvers, and it has a batch of like the Polaroid film with like a Mando border on it, and there's like the Mudhorn sigil and stuff. So that's interesting.
That's kind of cool. I like how on the box there's like a photo coming out of Polaroid, and it's like the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Photo of the Mandalorian.
Polaroids are cool. I don't know one. Maybe I'll look into that.
I mean, yeah. If you're gonna buy one, I don't see why not buy the Star Wars one, right?
Oh yeah, why not? Why not? If you're in the market, yeah, go for it. But that is the first of Mando Mondays. I don't know if we get this much next week for Mando Monday, because this seems like a lot of all this stuff is going to be out within the next couple weeks, so be on the lookout. I think next week might be more like branching into the publishing, like maybe comics or a little short docu-series about the road to Mando 2 or something like that. But
I'm sure we'll get some sort of marketing promo thing soon.
Yeah. Now, the question, of course, Mike, is will Mando Mondays continue for every other season? Because, of course, we saw that Mando Mondays are continuing until the end of this year. But, according to one Grand Moff Gideon himself, Giancarlo Esposito, Mando's back again for a third and I think fourth season based on these quotes. I can just read the quote and we can break that down.
Yeah, go for it.
So, on the night of the Emmy Awards, Giancarlo Esposito was being interviewed by People magazine. He said, quote, "We're living in a universe that is huge and there's so much to explore, so I think this show is going to lay the groundwork for the depth and breadth that's going to come in season 3 and season 4, where you're really going to start to get answers," end quote. Now, that reads as someone who knows they're going to be around for a couple seasons and did not realize they might have not been able to say that.
That definitely reads that way, but it's really not that surprising, honestly. Like, I'm happy to hear that come from his mouth. I mean, it might have just been like a slip of the tongue. Like, he might have just said that, like, and it's not confirmed yet. You know, maybe they've been talking about like a vision for the show, but it hasn't quite been like confirmed. I wouldn't be surprised if Disney has like greenlit a season 3 and a season 4.
Yeah.
Because just there's so much hype around it. Honestly, I think that they greenlit season 2 before season 1 even came out. So, yeah, I mean it's just good to know that like that other aspect of his quote where he says like we'll finally get answers shows that this show is going to become, I think, more than just your typical like job of the week sort of thing.
Yeah, and as much as people like me really enjoy the Bounty of the Week format, I think it's nice to know, and you would assume this because it's Favreau and Filoni and their history of work individually, they're building towards something, right? So I think for people like you who were a little let down, season 1 wasn't really building towards a grander story, you know? It was like contained just within season 1. It was a lot of just like what's going on this week. I think for those like you who had that criticism of season 1, this might put you at ease in a way. Like even if season 2 does have like maybe half season 1 energy, that grand scheme we're still going somewhere, you know?
It totally puts me at ease because honestly, like I don't want it to sound like I was disappointed in season 1 because I still really liked season 1 and I'm just taking it for what it was, and what it was you know a sort of Bounty of the Week thing, and I thought it actually worked pretty well for a first season of the show. But yeah, it puts me at ease because I know now that at least like coming from a reputable source, an actor on the show, that we're building towards something. So I don't expect season 2 to be like I expect season 2 to be more like Bounty of the Week still. I think that's just I think they're just trying to get people to watch the show at this point. But I think towards the end of the season we might start to see sprinkles of something larger at stake, and we already have seen that. But I think it's gonna become something that's more prominent in the story. Sprinkles in season 2.
Yeah,
that's my prediction.
I would agree with you. I think that first off, like Giancarlo Esposito has been on like pretty long running shows before. I think he was on that like CW show The 100. I think he was on that, but most people know him from Breaking Bad. He was on multiple seasons of Breaking Bad. He is very familiar with how like seasons of shows work, signing on contracts. Like I think that if this wasn't the case, if this was false, if he was just saying, a hypothetical season 4, I don't think that's what this quote means. I think he knows. I think he's probably signed on for a few seasons, and whether or not Disney wants to pursue multiple seasons, I can't imagine why they wouldn't. This isn't like Alden Ehrenreich signing on for 3 Han Solo movies, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think this is definitely something that they're going to keep. I don't want to use the word milking, but yeah, I think they're going to keep milking it. It's profitable for them. People enjoy it. It's a good show.
Yeah.
Just straight up. So I mean, I don't know why they wouldn't continue it.
Yeah, and I think the point you make is really strong too. If you look at the fact that everything we've heard about Kenobi and Cassian is that they're most likely one-offs. So if you experiment with visiting these characters that we're already familiar with from the films, and you give them a limited run series or whatever they decide to do with those characters after their first seasons, but you have this original character and story and world and time period to explore with the Mandalorian, then I think that just works out for everything. That's best case scenario.
Yeah, I mean, we know that the Kenobi show is going to be a one-off, or at least it's rumored to be. I don't know if that's confirmed, but
I think the recent quote was that Ewan said limited series, and then I think from that, I think also Kathleen Kennedy said limited series, but I think they didn't say like then that's it. I think they were like, well, we're really excited to see how this limited series does, like that kind of thing.
Yeah. All right. But I mean, I guess like with that in mind, if Kenobi is actually a limited series and there's just one season, what is your ideal sort of scenario for the Mandalorian? What would you want to see? Like how many seasons would you want to see in this? Like obviously, I assume you would want it to like sort of build to something and end at some point. Yeah. Like at what point do you think they should like stop and like move on?
I think the sweet spot for most shows is 5 or 6 seasons. So if Mando can get to 6 seasons and it's quality the whole time, I'll be happy.
I agree.
So, now the big question is, when do we bring Luke Skywalker into this? That's
season 3, baby.
Yeah, season 3, and then Luke's hanging around for a little while.
That's when it all starts. Yeah. That's when we get Sebastian Shaw. What's his name?
Sebastian Stan.
Sebastian
right. Shaw. Is that? I think that's an X-Men character. I think
right,
that's Kevin Bacon in X-Men.
All right, get out of here. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. The Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
We need him to play Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. Genuinely though, I think we could probably get there if grand scheme we're looking for the child's people, and I think the people would be the Jedi that we're gonna get to when we talk about the trailer. Like, I think that's a very real possibility that we get some sort of appearance of Luke Skywalker as a character. So
yeah, I think so. We'll see.
We will. Now, Mike, I believe that was everything we had to go over. So let's talk about this trailer.
Let's do it.
Now, I'm going to pull it up just to reference it.
Me too.
Do you remember the second this trailer came out, I texted it to you because last week we were like, of course, it's probably going to be a trailer tomorrow in the gap. And look what happened. The trailer came out between the recording and release of the last week's episode.
Honestly, I hate to see it, but it's something that it's so predictable now. It seems like Star Wars, if they're not going to release something on like Sunday Night Football, it's going to be on a Tuesday morning.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. Now, looking at the trailer right now on the official Star Wars YouTube channel, it has almost 9 million views, 355,000 likes, 3.7 thousand dislikes. So we're here to party, obviously.
Oh yeah.
And
if you haven't seen this already, you gotta.
Yeah, dude, from the get-go, like, I just miss the look of this show, honestly.
Right. Yeah. And not to mention, this is like a pretty short trailer, but like you really just get a good sense of the world just immediately.
Yeah.
Just by the way it looks.
Yeah. Now, kicking off, is it just me? We kick off looking at 2 planets and the Razor Crest flows by. Does the Razor Crest look a little beat up to you?
Oh, it totally does. And also, does this like planet in the foreground look a lot like Jupiter to you?
Yeah.
That's just an interesting thing that came out to me. But yeah, it definitely looks damaged. One of the engines seems like it's sort of like sputtering. Do you see that?
Yeah. So I wonder where that takes place in the season. Like, I wonder if all of this content in the trailer is pulled from the first episode or 2. It seems like it could be, based on what we see. We don't really see anything specific in terms of a grand, like, oh shit shot, right? It's like a lot of stuff that you could see in a season 1. There's really no appearance of a lot of rumored things. Like, there's no Ahsoka in this trailer. There's no Tamora Morrison, which, worth noting, there was a leak that came out about who Tamora Morrison is most likely playing. We're not going to talk about that because we're just very close to the season. It's kind of a spoiler. So if you want to know about that, it's out there. But we're probably going to cool off on the Mando leak talk in the coming weeks.
Yeah. We're just going to not talk about any spoilers. And we'll just determine the definition of a spoiler, I guess.
Yeah. So, kicking off.
Also, can I make one other observation about the Razor Crest?
Sure.
It also looks like the hatch is open.
Yeah. So, I'm wondering what's going on there? Like, are they running away from something? Like, did they have to make a slapdash escape somewhere and things went wrong? Are we limping back to Grief Karga in this shot? Is that what's happening? Like, going back just for support? Like, what's going on?
I mean, maybe it definitely looks like they got into some sort of issue. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't really reveal much, to be honest. But it's interesting. So we have like it's a ship careening towards a planet. So
the trailer really like has a good energy to it. It has a slow build, lots of just establishing shots, right? Like we see Mando and Baby Yoda walking down a back alley, which is pretty cool. Tusken Raider on a bantha looking up at the Razor Crest on a planet that I would assume is Tatooine.
I feel like we're gonna definitely go back to Tatooine.
Yeah, like Grief Karga and Cara Dune were on the home base planet still, right?
Yeah, I forget the name of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's Outer Rim. It's another like kind of desert planet. So like,
yeah.
I was just trying to check in because I don't think they would have gone to Tatooine, right? The only person we're aware of on Tatooine besides maybe Luke for a period of time would be the mechanic from season 1, right?
Right. Who played the mechanic?
I'm blanking. I forget.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah. Also, hold on. Remember, there was that tease on Tatooine of the boot. Remember, because we saw Ming-Na Wen's character get shot because she was the bounty that week, and
so I wonder who that is.
Yeah, I wonder if we return to that boot.
Whose boot is that? I think definitely. They wouldn't tease something like that and not return to it, especially since this definitely looks like Tatooine. That's definitely a Tusken Raider. So on a bantha.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna get answers, folks.
Yeah. Damn. I just remembered that boot. So that could be very cool.
Yep.
Next we see another planet, which again probably leans into the idea of job of the week or quest of the week. We're getting a lot of variety out the gate.
Looks like an icy planet though.
Yeah. So the immediate shot after that, we see Mando and Baby Yoda in the snow, Mike.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are speculating that they visit Ilum.
Yep.
Do you believe this?
I do, and not immediately from this these shots. There's a shot later in this trailer that we'll get to that sort of like really establishes it for me, I think.
Okay.
I guess I'll just say it now. They're like walking through some sort of like ice cave. It looks very like Fallen Order to me. And I think definitely on purpose. So
yeah. Dude, that's first off, that's pretty cool, right?
I think so, yeah. Now,
what just came across in my head, dude? What if I'm just thinking of all these possibilities, right? Because we learn in this trailer because of the narration. The next shot is matching this specifically. The narration is the blacksmith Mandalorian character. Her lines about finding Baby Yoda's clan or whatever. She brings up the line again. They use the line of like the Jedi, how a very long time ago the Jedi fought the Mandalorians and they had a great like bloody conflict.
Yep.
And they call them like wizards or something like that. And they show sorcerers. Yeah. They show the boss, the legit boss herself, Sasha Banks.
I know.
In a black robe. First off, I'm a big fan of Sasha Banks.
Oh no, continue.
I was just gonna say, got into WWE in high school. She's great, excellent performer, excellent on the mic. So her being in this universe, I completely forgot there was that rumor. So seeing her here, that is awesome.
I never got into the WWE, to be honest with you. So not super familiar with Sasha Banks at all. But yeah, no, that's definitely cool.
Yeah.
She definitely looks menacing or like suspicious, and some way.
Now, it's heavily implied due to the editing that she's a Jedi or a Force-sensitive person.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think that's a swerve, or do you think that's just
I
face
think
value?
I think it might be a swerve. I don't really like to come to any conclusions based on that because it could so easily be a swerve. Uh, so I guess we'll just have to wait to see.
Yeah.
She could be really anything. She's really only in this trailer for that second.
Yeah.
Like,
Now,
but she does disappear very gracefully.
Yeah. So, were you gonna say something before I brought up Sasha Banks?
I was just gonna say that the planet that the Mandalorian, Baby Yoda, and Sasha Banks are on looks very watery. So it makes me think: are they on Mon Cala?
Ooh, that'd be very cool.
Because there are a lot of aquatic-looking aliens around.
Yeah,
right?
and I think the shot after she disappears, or like the next scene we see is Mando after the streaming October. We see Mando and Baby Yoda on a boat.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah,
it just looks like a vast ocean, and like if you look at the background, more aquatic-looking aliens. I think that they're native to those planets. So we'll see. That'd be really cool.
That would be. Now, seeing them jumping around to all these different places, now I'm wondering if are we looking for like Jedi artifacts or something, kind of like how the initial pitch of Kylo Ren was that he was supposed to be this fanatic obsessed with tracking down all these ancient Jedi Sith things. Like, if we get a little bit of that, even though that is again like MacGuffin heavy, like I think that could be cool, in terms of a fan service way.
I mean, I think that'd be interesting. Like, that'd be an interesting mechanism for the Mandalorian to find, a Jedi, right? Like, he has to go and hunt down all of these, ancient artifacts that will lead him to something. I don't know. I feel like that would be a cool setup for that.
Definitely. Now, when we get
I don't know how exactly that would work, but
sure. Remind me when we get to the Ilum shot that you were convinced about to bring up my point that blew my mind, because I will hold that until then.
Okay.
So after that, we get another good look at after the deadliest catch scene. We see the Razor Crest being pulled up on by some X-wings. Is that what it looks like to you?
Yeah, it looks like they're kind of coming up, flanking them.
Yeah, because we see in that cockpit shot the X-wing to his left is changed into attack position. So
I know. Yeah, they pull up, and their S-foils are in attack position. But then we get the cockpit shot, and that's when that happens. And then I guess the very next scene is it looks what seems to be these two X-wings chasing the Razor Crest.
Yeah. Shortly after that, Grief Karga, Cara Dune, hanging out, casual robes.
Right.
Same planet, it looks like, right, from season 1?
Yeah, it's really bothering me that the name of that planet is like escaping me at the moment.
Yeah. Now, Mike, what's very interesting so far, immediately after that we see a TIE fighter taking off, and we also see some stormtroopers.
Right. Also, the TIE fighter looks very cool, number one.
Yeah, seeing that take off is pretty sick.
It does look very cool. But yeah, the stormtroopers, it looks like a very brand new hallway.
Yeah, and even their armor looks pretty nice, and unlike the stormtroopers we saw in season 1, right, where it was very dirty. And after that, we also see some scout troopers doing a crazy action set piece with some speeder bikes. Yeah. I think if anything, this trailer, one, it does what good trailers do, in my opinion, where it just constantly builds. You're building and building and building. But it makes me feel like season 2 has a much bigger scale than season 1 did in terms of its set pieces.
For sure. I mean, there were a lot of cool set pieces in season 1, I thought. But it does seem like that there's much more, there's a sense of grandiosity in this. It makes me wonder, do you think that they're going to start to explore the foundations and the start of the First Order?
I don't know. Maybe like I think if this does hit 4 seasons or further down the line, I think we could see that. But what would be very interesting is maybe seeing Moff Gideon kind of have sort of a founding role in spurring on the shadows of the Empire, if you will, that eventually lead to the First Order.
Yeah.
You know?
Interesting.
So, then we get into a lot more of some, I'd say, montage set pieces of Mando in despair. But right here, okay, 1 minute 21 seconds. The caves, the ice caves.
That's what I'm talking about. That looks like the Clone Wars episode where the Padawans go to Ilum with Yoda and Ahsoka. Mm-hmm. That looks like Fallen Order when you go there to get the crystals.
Yes.
That looks like Ilum to me. And I think it would make sense, if Mandalorian is trying to find the Jedi, that he would go to such a place. Hasn't quite been destroyed yet.
Yes.
So.
Now, Mike, what blew my mind and what came across to me, what if, go with me, in the efforts to find Baby Yoda's clan, his people, the Jedi, the pool of Jedi we have access to right now, pretty small. Like, it's Luke Skywalker, depending on how you look at it, Ahsoka, she's not a capital J Jedi, but she was trained by the Jedi,
She got the powers.
Yeah. As far as we know, Cal Kestis is alive.
Yeah, true.
Now,
Sarah Junda is alive.
Yeah. And remember how at one point in time we were like, hey, interesting that Cal Kestis just looks like Cameron Monaghan because they scanned him in. He's an actor. He looks like that. Do you think that maybe one of the Jedi we find, maybe it's not Luke Skywalker, maybe it is, but do you think we have a potential world where Luke's new Jedi Order consists of Ahsoka Tano, Cal Kestis, and then Baby Yoda?
Well, I have to say, I guess I don't know, because we don't actually know if Cal Kestis and Sarah Junda are alive. This takes place after episode 6.
True.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, we don't even know, like, they could all die sometime, like, before episode 4. So, I mean, yeah, I guess if Cal Kestis survives, I guess that kind of just adds to the question, like, where were they?
Yeah.
The entire time.
Yeah, because, I mean, we're already like that with Ahsoka right now, right? Like, where she was.
Yeah. Like, where was she during all of that?
Yeah. Like... so, I'm curious. I think the reason I asked that question is because Ilum, I think, is most notable to me, at least, from Fallen Order. Like, obviously, like you said, there was that episode of Clone Wars, but... like, it's also Starkiller Base eventually, but to me, Ilum proper is that level in Fallen Order. So, I made that immediate connection. I don't know how likely that is based on how much more complicated they want to make what Jedi were alive and well while Luke was fighting for the soul of that order.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, it definitely looks like Ilum to me. That's the first thing that came to my mind. I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
For sure. And then, of course... oh, hold on. Yeah, there's another shot of Mando looking into those caves. But we end off with... again, I'll make another comparison to Fallen Order. Audio-wise, the music of this trailer very much reminded me of... 1, Cal Kestis' iPod, and 2, the music playing in that arena in the middle of the game.
That's so funny, man.
Right?
Cal Kestis' space iPod, yeah.
But doesn't it, like, that chanting kind of rock music type deal?
Right, yeah, it does, for sure. Especially this last scene when they're in the in the underground arena fight club looking there.
Yeah. So I wonder if that's just a case of trying to, like, weave together more things to make the universe feel alive. I bet that's probably it, and that's the extent of it, but it was something cool I noticed. And once again, we see at the end, Mando's about to square up with these people at this seedy place. He pulls out his electro stuff in his wrist rockets, and then Baby Yoda does the cute little close the egg.
Yeah, that's so cute. I love it.
Very good, because that tells me that's happened before.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
how does he replenish that? You know, that's what I want to know. Where does he get the wrist rocket?
The wrist rockets? I don't know, dude. I don't. But,
I don't know.
That's the end of the trailer, though. So overall, Mike, biggest takeaways / what does this do for your hype of season 2?
Well, I'm surprised about how much it doesn't tell you.
Yeah.
I thought it did a good job doing that. I really don't know anything about the season, other than the fact that, you know, the basic premise is that the Mandalorian is trying to get the child, Baby Yoda, back to his people.
Mm-hmm.
I think in terms of the hype, it definitely elevates it for me. And yeah, it's filled with cool shots, filled with cool stuff to speculate on, and I'm just excited to watch this next season. Personally, it just adds to that.
Yeah, I agree. I will co-sign everything you just said. I think my biggest takeaway is definitely the scale, not only in terms of the set pieces like we mentioned, but also the variety. Because like, I'm sure that final place could have been on Grief Karga's planet or potentially Mon Cala, but like, I think there's a lot of variety in the scenery, right? Like we saw that ocean planet, we saw Tatooine, we saw Ilum potentially, we saw Grief Karga's planet. So like,
yeah,
if it is only 9 episodes and we're moving around that much, I feel like it's going to be kind of breakneck in maybe a good way, you know? Because I think when it comes to pacing in terms of what you're doing episode to episode, you get a bit more leeway if you're really moving at a fast rate than you do in a film, like episode 9, for instance, where that being breakneck kind of ruined it. But I think like,
yeah,
leaning into what worked, I think in season 1 of The Mandalorian, where it was a different thing every week, but also having much more variety this time around, and much more of a, maybe not as far as a huge set piece per episode, but we saw like the dogfight, the speeder chase, the brawl in the underground, the sprawling shot of the ocean. Like, I think season 2 to me feels like it's gonna have a much larger scale, and that's kind of exciting, especially if we're going to be getting more seasons than just 2 or 3.
For sure. And I think this trailer also kind of adds a little bit of it gives a little context to the fact. I think it sort of shows that it's going to be a little bit deeper than the last season.
Mm-hmm.
Just by the way that everything is framed, the narration. I think it's gonna be good television, man. I'm excited.
Me too. I don't know if we have confirmation on this, but it also feels like it's been a little bit since the events of season 1 to me. Like, the idea of them returning to Cardoon and Grief Karga makes me feel like they haven't been there since we saw them together again. You know, if it was like the two of them coming out to greet them arriving.
Yeah, it looked like they haven't seen each other in a while.
Yeah.
But
also, I do think I know it's a gimmick, it's like a little joke of like Baby Yoda closing the thing, but like, he probably trained him to do that, of like, hey, if you see me, get ready, hide, you know? So like, they have that a little bit. That's definitely more synchronicity than they had together in season 1, right? So maybe it's a year later, maybe it's a little more, a little less, but I'm excited to see, like, pick up again with this cast and these characters.
I certainly wouldn't be surprised if there was some sort of time jump.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's going to be good. If there, I hope there is actually. I think that'd be good for them to off screen have time to get together, and we can kind of just jump right into the middle of that.
Mm-hmm. Final question for you.
Yeah.
Will the child speak?
No.
No?
I don't think so. I think that's not going to happen for a while.
Yeah, me too. You know, and if you want to talk time jumps, I think we probably need like a 50-year time jump if we want to have like some prefrontal cortex development for the child.
Yeah, I think he's already got the prefrontal cortex going.
Yeah, try saying that. It's rough.
It is rough, but yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to be seeing him speaking anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't either. But do you think we get anything else trailer wise before season 1 launches, or
Yeah, for sure. I think we're going to maybe get some TV spots. We'll get like something else. I don't think we're going to get much. And I think any sort of character reveal, any sort of major character reveal that potentially may or may not happen, will probably just be in the show at this point, I think.
I agree. I think that is, considering that like we had so many weeks speculating how you end the season 2 trailer with an Ahsoka reveal and they didn't do that, I think you're right that we don't see it until it happens.
Yeah, I think that if that's going to happen, we'll see it in the show. And honestly, better that way.
Yeah, I agree. But unless you have any final thoughts, Mike, I think that wraps episode 50.
Well, I mean, what a great episode 50 to have. We're talking about, we've really come full circle. We're really in the thick of it, Christian.
Yeah, absolutely. Next episode will be 1 full year since we started doing the show. And when we started before, we're like still a ways out for Mandalorian, but now it just feels like it's so close, even though we still have like a month and a half left almost.
I know. But it'll be good. Well, we have good stuff planned, and I'm excited to rewatch season 1. Honestly,
yeah, Mand-October is gonna be fun.
Yeah, my birth month. Mand-October. It's a match made in heaven.
Absolutely. Well, until Mand-October, Mike, and until your birthday, where can people find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Mike P. Connors.
Very nice. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch at Chris N. Buckley. This show right here is available on youtube.com/joyclicks, as well as a variety of podcast platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pocket Cast, Stitcher, all your favorites. So if you can rank or review the show on those platforms, it would be greatly appreciated. Helps the show out a ton. Just takes a second, and we will love you for it. But
always,
if you want up-to-date info, I'll post the Mando schedule on our Twitter at Jedi Knights JC. So if you want more in-depth looks at that, you can go there. Patreon.com/joyclicks is where you can get this show, influence over the show for $2. $5 tier gets you producer credit like Chris Sakas gets for My First Mon. So if you want that, if you want to get a shout out on the shows, you can do that. And we've been doing live premieres every Wednesday of this year's show. So if you're around, it's usually been like 4 p.m. Eastern time. If you're around then, you want to watch it with the chat, you're welcome to do so. youtube.com/joyclicks.
Every Wednesday.
But until next week, until Mand-October begins.
Oh yes.
Well, we got one more week before Mand-October kicks off, but
one more week to really ramp it up. Here.
We have 1 week until our celebration of Mand-October begins, but Mand-October starts when the clock strikes midnight on September 30th.
Honestly, Christian, Mand-October's already begun.
Oh, you're right. Absolutely. But until then, we're fine. Everything's fine. How are you?
May the Force be with you.
Hello there. This is where the fun begins.
General Kenobi.